Hey guys, Erin here with LaCkore Couture, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. Today we're going to be talking about my story and how I started a jewelry brand. But before we do that, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and let's get right into it. So, as all businesses, there's actually a funny and interesting background as to how I started LaCkore Couture, why I do this, and all that. So let's just jump right into it. So I went to college and I got my degree in psychology. I became a therapist. I got my master's, did all that. And during graduate school, I found that jewelry making was a true passion of mine. I had been making it since I was like a little girl. My grandma used to take me to like those super cute little earthy crystal shops in Colorado growing up. And I can just always remember loving DIY. I've always been into crafting, doing everything myself. Like if I saw something super expensive, I would always say, oh, I can make that, and I would do it. So I've always been into like the whole DIY world. Now, I would make jewelry as a kid, like, just for fun and just on those trips really when we would go visit Colorado. There was like all these bead stores there. Anyway, fast forward back to graduate school. I jump around here, so follow along. So when I was in graduate school, right across the street, I went to University of Central Florida in Orlando, and across the street there was actually a bead shop. And I think I was like out drinking or partying one night. Anyway, I came across this bead store and I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of my childhood. That would be so fun. So I started going there and I would like buy beads. I would take classes here or there. They would like teach me things here and there. And I started making stuff for my family, like for gifts. I would do Christmas gifts for my grandma, Christmas, Hanukkah gifts for my mom, Mother's Day, birthday presents. And I realized that making this jewelry became like so therapeutic to me. Not only did my family love the jewelry when they got it, because who doesn't love a handmade gift, especially when it's jewelry and it's actually pretty and they want to wear it. So anyway, I started making this jewelry just like literally as some sort of hobby and relief for myself while I was going through graduate school. Now, I want to backtrack a little. So if you don't know, I have something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. And for years, I was dealing with many, many health problems. But during this time frame, like in my late teens, early 20s, is when my health really started to decline and started to rapidly degenerate. So, insert jewelry making, it was such the perfect reprieve for me. It was therapeutic, fun, it was a distraction, and it was a pretty inexpensive hobby to do while I was, getting my diplomas. So anyway, fast forward, I become a therapist, I'm working as a school counselor, I love my career, I'm helping students, I did family counseling for a while, and all of a sudden I just was like, you know what, I miss making jewelry, and I casually started making jewelry. I had like cases and cases and cases of beads. So for birthdays and things like that, I would bust out my old bead drawers and I would get my wire, get my pliers out, and I would just like make jewelry for gifts again, and just to remind myself of that therapeutic experience and just to have fun, because being a mom and having a career was super stressful with all my health conditions. So anyway, I started making things, and then in 2015 is when things really started to get real. So in 2015, I started making these bangle bracelets that at first I was just making them for myself. A couple friends would buy them here or there. And then I ended up, and like literally everybody was like, oh my God, we need these, we need these. And I realized how popular they were. So I was like, okay, there are always like, holiday shows, festivals. I lived in South Florida at the time. So there's shows going on constantly, and I would go to them with my family, but I was like, you know what? Why can't I be a vendor here and sell? So I bought a table, I bought a tablecloth, I coined the name LaCkore Couture. So if you didn't know what it was, LaCkore is my married last name, and I just thought it rhymed perfectly with couture. I made my own little business cards, which actually I have a picture of them and I'm gonna put it right there. So I made business cards off Vistaprint. They do like 1,000 of them for like $10. I got a tablecloth going, I got a tent, and I was like, okay, I'm doing this thing. So I remember I worked my first show at my son's school with my best friend Brenna. At the time, she was selling like little kids' clothes, and I was selling these bracelets along with like little kids' jewelry, and I was like really just dabbling and see where it would go. So this went on for a little while. I was at that time kind of selling kids' jewelry along with the bangles. And then I started to see that the kids' jewelry wasn't really doing well, but the women's jewelry was really doing really well. So I said to myself, okay, there's something here. This is like great supplemental income. I absolutely love this. This is my passion. This is therapeutic for me. Like, I could do this at nights. I could do this on the weekends. And I would start selling online to friends on social media. I would post like on my personal page. And then shortly after that, I created LaCkore Couture, Facebook and Instagram. And then I got a website. I was like, in my mind, I was so legit. Anyway, I started doing more shows. I started selling at like festivals, at art shows and things like that. And I really started to get my name and my brand out to the community. I started really getting a pretty amazing following who I can't thank these women enough. I mean, they really pushed me in the direction and truly helped me believe in myself. I'll never forget this one woman, Allison. I saw her at my kids' school at like a luncheon or something, and she was like, listen, you are way too talented to be sitting behind a desk at this school. Like, you really need to go and follow your dreams and like really do this. And I really thought about it, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'm doing it. But that really always resonated with me. And, you know, most people think like, you can't leave your career. You can't leave what you went to school for. You have all these student loans and, you know, all this time in education and certificates and licensure. How can I leave all that for jewelry? It just, at the time, it seemed insane. But anyway, I kept hustling, kept working these events, and slowly but surely, my following really grew to the point where I started selling at little local boutiques. I even got in selling at the Fontainebleau Hotel, which was in South Beach, which was like such a huge deal for me. And I really started to believe in myself. And I really think that looking back now, if I had my same brain now, I wish I had it then, but you know how it goes. 2020, everything is 2020 in retrospect, but it's just been a really interesting journey as to where I am now and how I got into making YouTubes and doing ads and marketing and all this stuff that goes along with it. Like at the beginning, it was literally just a side hustle, just something I did for fun that really, I think that's where a successful company comes from, is something that you're really passionate about and that you don't start just to make money, like that you actually start because you love it and you put your heart and soul into it. And that's what I do. Like all these pieces, all this jewelry I make is literally like my heart and soul in a piece. And I know that the community felt that when I would meet all these women and men, like connecting with the community was just something so special. And I absolutely fell in love with it. And after years and years, I finally left my career to pursue it full time. And it's been a wild ride. So that was in 2015 when I really started LaCkore Couture. And then in 2018 is when I left my career. I went totally rogue to pursue my sparkly dreams of jewelry and entrepreneurship. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about opening your own company, it is a wild ride. So prepare for everything. And even when you feel as prepared as you possibly could be, you'll never truly be prepared because there is going to be curveballs at every corner. So you just can't give up. You have to keep pushing. And if it's something that you're truly passionate about, that'll be something really easy for you to do. So 2018, I left my career. I started pursuing my entrepreneurial skills full time, and I really went headfirst, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew how to do my organic reach on Facebook, organic reach on Instagram, making funny videos, showing off my jewelry and things like that. And then my whole world changed in 2020 in the pandemic. And honestly, I would have never thought that really launching this brand to the next level in the pandemic would change my life, but it truly has. And if you want to find out about the next level that I took it to in 2020. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow for part 2 because I really want you guys to hear what happened during the pandemic when I took my brand worldwide. And if you want to learn more about me, LaCkore Couture, jewelry, fashion, all that good stuff, make sure you click one of the videos above me, and I'll see you in the next one.